So today I'm going to be talking about a planned character for Sonic.EXE outcome memories. As of the time of recording this, Mighty and Ray's models were revealed only a few days ago, and they look awesome. I've seen a bunch of people talking about how Mighty should be a protective or defensive survivor of some kind, so I decided to put my own moveset together for him that I consider to allow that sort of role. With all that said, let me explain my concept for Mighty. To begin, he would have a passive. If he and another survivor are being chased at the same time, Mighty's damage intake would be reduced by 20%. If he uses an ability while he and another survivor are being chased at the same time, his damage intake would instead be reduced by 50% while performing the move. This may not sound super useful as it is, but when I explain his abilities, you'll see why it is so important. For Mighty's first ability, I think it could actually be two different moves in one, kind of like how Rosie's hammer attack works. I'd name the ability Ground Pound. Using Ground Pound while airborne would make him perform his hammer drop ability seen in Sonic Mania Plus. Hitting the killer with it would stun them for 3 seconds and knock them back a fair distance. If he uses Ground Pound while on the ground, he will instead stop and throw a punch at the ground, making a radial shockwave go out a short distance. Nearby survivors on the ground would be flung into the air. If the killer is hit by the shockwave, they would be stunned for a second and pushed back a fair distance. If the killer is next to Mighty as he punches the ground, the killer will instead be stunned for 3 seconds and knocked back an even further distance. I'd like to base Mighty's second ability off a scene from Sonic Mania Adventures where he throws a huge rock at Metal Sonic. I'd name this ability Rock Launch. Upon use, Mighty will reach into the ground, pick up a large rock, and hold it above his head. You can't run or jump while carrying the rock. From here, you can press M1 or your right trigger button to lob the rock, and you can aim it using the cross dot. Striking the killer with the rock would stun them for 4 seconds, but deal no knockback. This move can also be used to yeet your fellow survivors. Other survivors can cling to the rock while Mighty's holding it. When Mighty throws the rock, the survivor or survivors would travel with it. However, they'd have to jump off the rock before it reaches impact, or they'd take 15 damage. So before I conclude this video, I want to quickly explain how I expect Mighty's abilities to be used in-game. The grounded variant of Ground Pound is meant to be used as a mix of a support move and a stunner. It allows your friends to get away from the killer via a higher elevation and possibly stun the killer at the same time. Even if the launch survivors don't land on a higher elevation like I'd expect, it gives them time to breathe and think of their next movement options. As for the air variant, it's meant to be more of a self-defense thing when Mighty's alone, since I'd imagine it'd be harder to drop on the killer while someone else is being chased. That's not to say you can't try that, though. Rock Launch can be used in two ways. You can delay the killer for a bit, or give your friends a better chance at survival. Like Ground Pound, it can be used to put distance between your friends and the killer, only it does it better since you could aim where they're going. Who knows, maybe someone could hit a 360 and yeet their friends into the warp ring. For the cooldowns, I think 25 seconds would suffice Ground Pound and 30 would be enough for Rock Launch. That about wraps up this concept of mine. I appreciate you having listened in and staying to the end of the video. I think I could come up with a more befitting moveset for Mighty, but I'm struggling to think of anything besides incorporating the hammer drop in some sort of way. Thanks again for listening to this, and have a good day or night. Don't forget to outcome your memories, and I'll see y'all later.